Welcome to the Chengdu American Center for Study Abroad Pre-Departure Orientation. Before you leave on this very exciting trip, you do need to make sure that there are certain things that you have to have cleared by your home university and by GMEO so that you do have a smooth transition when you get to China and upon your return back to the United States. Before you leave, you have to make sure that the courses that you are about to take in China have been in fact approved by your academic advisor and by your home university, and they are the same courses that are noted in the system in GMEO. For this reason, GMEO will be sending you prior to departure a list of courses in which you will be registered. Please make sure that the courses in which you will be registered are in fact the same courses that your home university is showing to be the courses that have been pre-approved for you. The reason for this is that the courses, when you return to the United States, these same courses will be transferred back to you at your home university. So if it does not fulfill something in your degree audit, you will end up losing out on the transferability of the courses. So please make sure that the courses that GMEO has and the courses that your home university have are the same. Also, when you are in China, you will need to register for your academic courses for the semester in which you are returning back to the US. For this reason, you will need to do a lot of your academic advising with your academic advisor online. And with a 12-hour time difference, this might not be so easy. For this reason, we ask that you inform your academic advisor at your home university that you will be studying abroad for the semester and that they should be expecting you to email them with any questions about your academic advising. In addition, your home university should be letting you know what you need to do prior to departure to ensure that when you return to the United States, you have housing available to you at your home university. Now, you also need to be in very close contact with your home university study abroad office because they would need to let you know what you need to do exactly on your campus prior to departure to ensure that you have a smooth transition in Chengdu and in GMEO. A lot of times, home universities do require their students to submit certain forms prior to departure. Make sure that you do have all these forms completed. Now, just like your home university has forms that are required of you in China, GMEO also has forms that are required of you prior to departure. Upon your acceptance, you received a list of these forms that need to be completed. These forms, for example, are the travel plans form, the medical exam form, your certain other forms that you will need to be completing. So make sure that you complete these forms online or you obtain them from online and have them completed and scan them back to the appropriate person in the New York office of GMEO. This is very important, and all the forms will be found in the pre-departure portal of your student account. This means that you will need your username and your password to enter onto the system to obtain all these pre-departure documents. Now, when you arrive in Chengdu, you will be picked up at the airport in Chengdu. In order for GMEO to pick you up at the right time, you need to complete the travel arrangements form. Please be sure that all legs of your flight are indicated on your travel arrangements form. This will allow us to certainly pick you up at the right time in Chengdu. Even though you will have the full list of courses in which you will be registered prior to departure, actually your final course registration will happen during your orientation in China. So don't be afraid when this happens in China. Don't be worried. It's just a matter of procedures that the actual course registration happens when the students arrive. Now, as you have been previously told, meals are not included in the program fee. And we are highlighting this to you because we want to ensure that you will have enough money when you're in Chengdu to pay for your food. This is partly what you need to do and what you need to budget for. And so you must ensure that you've set a budget for yourself and that you stick to that budget while you're in China. Obviously, when you're in China, you also have to be mindful of the local laws and regulations. During the on-site orientation, our GMEO staff will provide you with very detailed information on what is considered illegal and what is considered legal. However, just from common sense, if something does not feel right to you, please know that it is not right. Okay? Please do not participate in any protests or demonstrations. As a foreigner in a different country, you are likely to stand out, and we do not want you to get into something that you would be construed as inappropriate or anything like that. So make sure that no students are allowed to demonstrate and protest. If you do find a little small protest on the way, please do avoid the protest and go around it. Do not go through it. Now, obviously, when we're traveling abroad, culture shock is very common and is to be expected. Sometimes some people have different feelings about culture shock, and there are different situations where you can experience culture shock. But basically, culture shock is when a student or an expat goes to a different country where everything is different. The smells, the sights, it's not what you're used to in your home. And also culture shock could be in different ways. So you could not experience culture shock for maybe the first 3 weeks. And then you could have a high where you're really excited to be in the country that you're in. And then later on you could start missing home again and start feeling like you are very far away from home. Just do know that culture shock is normal and that our staff in China are trained professionals in the field and are able to deal with culture shock. Now, I personally, when I'm in a different country, it's important to note that I also experience culture shock, but you just learn to deal with it. So, for example, once you start missing home and once things start feeling weird to you in the country that you're in, this is the time that perhaps you start reading a good book, or this is the time that you help yourself to that Starbucks coffee, even if it's going to cost you a little bit more money. This is the time when you start listening to the music that you're used to at home. So read up on culture shock as well, and be sure to, if you are feeling any weird emotions or missing home, that you do talk to the staff, because they would definitely be able to help you through it. Now, these are all your contacts while you're in Chengdu and in New York. In your pre-departure package, you will find 2 sets of what we call the emergency cards. These cards are not just for emergencies, but they do contain very important information that you will find useful along the way. So, for example, in that pre-departure package, in the card that you will find on there, it will have, just like here, the address in Chengdu, but it will also have that address in Mandarin. And so you will be able to, if you're out somewhere and you are having a hard time getting back, all you have to do is just show a cab the address in Mandarin, and they would be able to take you to the dormitory directly. Now, the emergency numbers that you see on there, what of course somebody considers an emergency is not the same as what the other person considers an emergency. So it's very important to note that if you feel like you are in an emergency and you want to talk to somebody, please be sure that you do call these numbers. Obviously, if you are in the United States, it will be much easier for you to call the 24/7 emergency number in New York. If you are in China, it will be much easier for you to get through to somebody in the 24/7 emergency number in China. With this said, please feel free to use these numbers as a contact for you. If at any point in time you are on the road and you find yourself a little lost, or you are not feeling well in the dormitory, please make sure that you do call the 24/7 emergency number, and somebody will be reporting to you immediately. Okay? Health and safety are the most important thing for GMEO. And health and safety of our students is our #1 priority. What this means is that prior to departure, you do need to provide us with your health clearance form. The health clearance form is basically a form from your doctor saying that you are mentally and physically capable of studying abroad in China. Now, all students that are going on this program are registered free of charge in the HTH Worldwide Insurance. This is a very good insurance company that insures expats outside of the United States. And if at any point in time you are not feeling well, you want to go see a doctor, you will certainly have coverage while you are in China. Prior to your departure, GMEO will be registering you in the HTH Worldwide Insurance. Based on that registration, you will receive an email from HTH Worldwide with your insurance card. What you have to do is log on to the HTH website once you receive that email, and from there you will be able to download your insurance card. In addition, HTH website is a very comprehensive website. It provides information on all medication all over the world, which means that since you are studying abroad in China, if you are currently on medication, you will be able to log on to their website to see if the medication that you are currently taking is available in China, and if it is available, is it available in a different name perhaps. Now, just as a note, all medication you are taking, whether it is off the counter or whether it is prescription medication, should be placed in your handbag and not in your luggage. Please do not put your medication in your luggage. In addition, all prescription medication has to be clearly marked in the bottle that it came in from the pharmacy. And there, you should have a letter from your physician letting immigration and customs know that medication is for personal use and it is not to be sold, right? Now, obviously, before you leave, you will have very important documents with you. These could be your passport, your health documents, perhaps your bank cards, your visas, or credit cards, all these different things. You need to make multiple copies of these documents. So normally, you would need to make 2 copies. One copy has to be placed in your carry-on bag, and the other copy of all these documents is to be given to somebody stateside that in case anything is lost or stolen, they're able to assist you with making phone calls to get a replacement. The documentation, part of the documentation, of course, including your credit cards, have to be photocopied front and back. Now, before you leave, you will need a passport and you will need a visa. At this point in time, if you have already gotten to this point in your pre-departure, you should have already had your passport available to you. And if you do not have a passport, I do hope that you have already communicated with somebody in the New York office about your passport situation. Now, passports have to be valid for at least 6 months. The visa that you are going to be obtaining is a student visa. Upon acceptance, GMEO will be providing you with a form, Sichuan University form, that you need to complete. As well, you need to provide them with a photocopy of your passport and passport-size pictures. Once GMEO receives this information, we will send this information to Sichuan University, which is the host institution of the Chengdu program, as they will be providing your invitation letter. Your invitation letter is actually needed in order for you to obtain your student visa from the Chinese consulate in the United States. The visa fee is about $140. Now, you could actually request the assistance of a travel agency to file for your visa. And those travel agencies usually charge anywhere between $40 to $60 in addition to the visa fee. So if this is the case, please do expect that you will be paying about $200. Obviously, the date that you should be arriving has to be relevant to the semester that you are leaving. However, for the fall 2015 semester, students are required to be in China by September 1st. You will be leaving China on either the 17th or the 18th. So when you are booking your flight, please make sure that you're arriving in China on September 1st, not in August or not in September 2nd. It has to be September 1st. And that when you leave China, that you do not book a return flight back before the 17th or the 18th. After the 18th, the dormitories will not be available, so please ensure that if you are staying in China for longer than the 18th, that you do make alternate housing plans. When you're looking for airline tickets, you need to do your due diligence to look for various travel agencies and go on to different search engines to determine the best price tickets. You could go onto kayak.com or certainly SDA Travel, Priceline, Student Universe, Expedia. There's a number of different options for students and for people traveling to find the best price ticket. The travel agent that could also assist you with your visa can certainly assist you to look for the best price ticket as well. But you do have to make sure that you also check it out online to make sure that you are getting the best price. Now, for students leaving out of New York, we do recommend that students go for LLL Travel Agency. And these travel agents have been vetted through the New York City office, and they do come highly recommended. So for students from New York, please do contact Amy Huang or Jessica Jin at LLL International Travel. And from Chicago, you can definitely contact China Visa for You, and you can do so by contacting Sean at info@chinavisaforyou.com. Finances are a very important subject that you need to be looking at prior to your departure. You do, as we have spoken before, your living expenses are not covered in the program fee. That mostly includes your food. And of course, what students eat and how much they spend on food depends on their eating habits. In China, you do have available to you Western and Eastern food, or local food, I should say. And obviously, the local food is much, much cheaper than the Western style food. So for the local food in Chengdu, it has been said that you can go on to the 1, 2, 3 rule. If you are having local food in Chengdu, you can estimate to spend $1 for breakfast, $2 for lunch, $3 for dinner. Obviously, if you will be eating more Western food, you have to make sure that you do allow at least $10 to $12 per meal. So obviously, as you can see, when you are traveling, if you are eating local food, you are spending much less than if you are eating Western style food. You will also need to estimate for books. Books should cost about $200 to $300. Your airfare, we are estimating the airfare should be anywhere between $1,200 to $1,800. But obviously this will depend on the semester you are leaving and how far in advance you book your flight. So make sure that you do book your flight early enough. To get a new passport, it should cost about $110. However, if you are expediting this passport, do expect to pay an expedited fee of roughly, I believe, about $70 or $80. So if you do your passport early enough during the process, you will not have to pay the expedited fee. So I do urge you to file for your passport as soon as you have interest in the program. Again, to obtain a visa to China, the cost of it is anywhere between $140 to $200. Local transportation in China, you will need a transit card, and that transit card is about $8, and you would be able to refill that transit card every time you are almost going to be running out. Do expect to have high-speed internet in the dormitory. However, it is not as necessarily as high speed as you would expect here in the United States. So you do have to have an open mind about that. But just so you know, the internet is available in so many different places in China. Unlike the United States, I feel that in China it is a lot more available to people in cafes and so on and so forth. Also, the center building has very high-speed internet, and that is definitely available to you at any time. Now, when you're budgeting for a cell phone, the cell phone itself, the device will cost about $60. And then you're looking at the monthly service fee. That should be anywhere between $5 and $10. Now, you do have to also obtain an ID card at Sichuan University since you will be able to use their facilities, and that card is $8. And you do have to pay a dorm deposit upon arrival in US dollars of $32. So again, prior to leaving, you do have to set a budget, and you have to ensure that you do stick to the budget and make sure that you are not spending above and beyond your means. Obviously, you will also want to make sure that you do have enough money for travel outside of Chengdu and to go to different museums and so on and so forth, because that is part of the experience. Before you leave, it is very important that you notify your bank and your credit card company that you will be studying abroad in China. The reason being is if they see activity from China when you have not notified them that you will be traveling, your card could be placed on fraud alert. So please make sure that you do talk to your bank and your credit card company about traveling to China. You will also need to talk to your bank about the ATM charges they charge and the bank fees that they charge when you are using your ATM from China. And do check with them if there is any way to where you would be paying lesser charges than normal. You will need to bring with you or have available to you about $500 during your first couple of weeks in China. And that is for the different reasons, as we spoke previously. For example, your dorm deposit, getting a new telephone, so on and so forth. And so please be sure that you do have this money available to you. Please also make sure that when you are traveling to China, you have at least $100 in RMB that are converted in the United States. That will carry you for the first couple of days at least when you're in China before you can learn how to access the ATM machines there. Now, this is the exciting part because this is where we begin packing for our trip to China. This is just a simple list of packing material. Please make sure that you do take very comfortable shoes with you, as you will be doing a lot of walking while you are in China. Do also make sure that you bring a camera with you. You will need at least one formal outfit, and that will be used perhaps when you meet the mayor of Chengdu, or if you are going on any certain upscale events where you will need that formal outfit. And by formal outfit, I mean for the guys, it is pants, shirt, and perhaps a tie. For the girls, it's a dress or a skirt, or a nice pair of pants and a nice shirt. Obviously, you will need to make sure that, again, that you pack your medication in your carry-on luggage, not in your checked bag. And do pack for yourself a goodie bag of basically off-the-counter medication that you are used to in the United States. So make sure if you're used to Tylenol perhaps, or Advil, or a specific stomach medication if you have an upset stomach, or if you're used to a specific cold medicine, please make sure that you do pack that with you and that you do carry it in your carry-on bag. And of course, you do have to follow airline regulations where you are not taking more than 3 ounces of any type of liquid. Okay. For your cell phones, you can certainly, everybody has now smartphones in the United States, and so please make sure that you do bring your smartphone with you. If it is unlocked, you will be able to purchase a SIM card in China where you can use that phone as your device in China, only if it is unlocked. However, please make sure that you are not using your US plan in China, because that will incur a lot of charges. So if this is the case, students are recommended to purchase a small device in China where they would be able to use it for calling and texting. And the phones that they take with them from here, it is recommended that you use it in Wi-Fi areas only, whereby you do not incur charges from your local telephone company. But you do also need to contact your local telephone company to let them know that you are studying abroad, and to figure out with them how you can best turn off your roaming charges while you are in China. Now again, there's free Wi-Fi internet access in the Sichuan University dormitory and at the Chengdu American Center for Study Abroad at the center itself, where you will have access to that. In China, websites such as Facebook and YouTube and Google cannot be accessed. However, for this reason, we do ask our students to apply to place a VPN on their computer prior to their departure. In order to place a VPN on your computer, you could certainly contact your home university to determine if they would be able to give it to you for free. If they're not able to do that, it is very easy to purchase a VPN to place on your computer. So make sure you talk to your study abroad office about this before you leave. Now, Chengdu itself is a hustling and bustling small little city of about 18 million people. And so it is certainly much larger than New York City, which is, I believe, about 11 million people. So certainly you will be able to see so much there, and the infrastructure that is in place is definitely very interesting, and you will be able to use it to travel to so many different places. There's a high-speed train, there's the local subway system, there's a bus system. Lots of cabs are also available, and the cabs happen to be much cheaper than in the United States. And so certainly when you go to China, you do expect to travel around, and we do expect you to be able to take the public transportation and enjoy taking the public transportation. More information on that will be provided to you in your on-site orientation. Now, obviously, there are multiple lines that will also, for the buses, that will go to the Chengdu Center. And this is just an example of the picture of what a bus stop would normally look like. Our China team are awaiting your arrival, and they will be very happy to take care of you while you're in China. This up here is our director, Jinyu Wang. Ms. Wang has been in the field for a very long time and has been welcoming international students to China for many years. Our assistant director is Mr. Julius Giles, and Julius has been, he as well went to China as a student, and after completion of his program, he decided to stay. So he will know exactly what you're going through when you arrive to China. Also, Ms. Sarah Lau is our office manager, and she will also be doing a lot of student work with you, and so do expect to be receiving emails from her and so on and so forth. When you're studying abroad, you really do need to set goals for yourself prior to leaving. You're not just going to spend a semester where you're doing American academic courses in an American environment. You will be placed in China, and there will be many opportunities for you to get to know the local people and the local culture. So we do urge you to make use of every single day when you will be in China. Make sure that if you are interested in an internship opportunity to enhance your career, that you do apply for the internship prior to your departure to China. We will make every effort possible to ensure that you are placed in the appropriate internship prior to your departure. Before you leave to China, you want to make sure that you want to make a list of all the things that you want to visit in China while you're there. Make sure that you are getting to know your local Chinese people, sample local foods, learn Mandarin. It's an exciting time, and we do want to make sure that you are making the most of it. This is an example of all the interesting things that you will be able to see while you're in China. This is the Chengdu Panda Breeding Center. It is the only panda breeding center in the world, and it is very exciting to see these little creatures, these little animals, while you're in China. You can have the opportunity to hold a panda for about $300, but you can certainly go see the panda for about $10. So I do urge you to make sure that you place this on your to-do list while you're in Chengdu. We thank you for attending this pre-departure orientation. We wish you the best of luck. We have had many students who have returned back and have been super happy with their time in China. And we do hope that you will be amongst those students. Please feel free to contact the New York City office at 212-785-0812 with any questions you might have.